Hi everyone. So I wanted to record a short video to help further explain your words their way analysis assignment. So these slides have already been shared, but I want to go over just to be sure you understand the assignment. So Words Their Way is a program designed to work with students on their word knowledge development. And when you start with the Words Their Way program, you always start first with what is called a spelling inventory based on the grade level of the students. And so this is sort of kind of like a spelling test, only students don't see the words prior to being assessed. So it's really assessing what skills they currently have in their word knowledge development. So the assessment is given to students, and then as a teacher, you will score and analyze those. So this over here is just a screenshot of part of a spelling inventory that was given to a student. And you can see that their name's on the top, and then there is scoring done on the sheet. So to do this, first you administer your spelling inventory. For the purposes of this assignment, you will not be assessing a student. Rather, you'll be using what is provided to you at this time to analyze. And so what you'll be doing is scoring the student's paper and then providing an analysis. So what you do when you score student papers, you want to first begin by marking words right or wrong on their paper. And then you will want to possibly write correct spellings next to the words to help you with your analysis if that's helpful, but it's not absolutely necessary. Then you will calculate the raw score, add up the total words spelled correctly. The feature analysis feature guides help you analyze the errors. That's what this is right here. So you would take the student's paper, lay the scoring guide next to it, and then make your marks. So for this example, the student's first word was bed. They got the B correct, so there's a check mark. They got the D correct, and they got the E correct. So they did get the whole word correct as well. So that's how you would score it. You use the provided feature guide. You check off features of the word that are represented correctly. And this is important to know. Reversals should be noted. There's space to do that, but they're not considered errors. So let's say, for example, the student put their B backwards. Right here in this box, you would notate that, but you would still give them credit for using the letter B. Same with if they wrote an S backwards. You would notate that for your documentation to know you need to work on that, but you would still give them credit for using the correct letter in the spelling. Then you'll add the total feature scores across the bottom and the total words spelled correctly. And then identify features for instruction, looking across the feature columns from left to right. And then that's how you decide where to start instruction, and that becomes their developmental stage. So this gives you an idea of the typical spelling range. So typically where students will land based on their grade, although they could be behind or advanced. So in this slide deck, I highly encourage you to click on this link that says Spelling Inventory. It gives you an example of one that has already been filled out so that you can see how it was completed, and then take some time to look it over. But this is how it was scored. So for this student, the student's name was Sally. She was a first grader. It was the middle of the year. And so this was her scoring guide. So for example, the word fan, she did write a backwards F. So I notated that, but she still gets credit for doing the letter F, the N, and the A. So that's a score of 3. And then I also checked that the word was spelled correct. Jump down here to sled. The student did not get the E. They did the SL, but the S was backwards, but they still get a point for that. But they did not spell the word correct. So they got 1 point for getting this feature correct, but no credit for here. Now, something important, this often confuses students. For some of these, for example, sled, it's only looking for the E and the SL. Notice there's no D. That's okay. It's meant to be that way because what this is doing, it's looking for specific patterns or features and seeing if the students have mastered that. So that's what you see going down the column. So this is testing consonants, the beginning sound, the ending sound. Right here, you've got short vowels, digraphs, blends, common long vowels, etc. So it's looking for specific skills, and that is why it is scored this way. Down here at the bottom, you're scoring going down the column. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That student got all 7 points. Whereas in this column going down, they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So notice up at the top, I circled the digraphs and I put that they are in the letter name alphabetic stage. How I found that out was if I go across this way on my totals, the features, if the student misses 2 or more, that is where you mark them for their developmental stage. So this student, 7 out of 7, 7 out of 7, 6 out of 7. So they did miss one of the short vowels, but again, remember, they have to miss 2 or more. 5 out of 7. 5 out of 7 is missing 2 or more. So even though I'm scoring all of it, this is where the student needs to begin working. So in small group, I would work on digraphs with this student. So on my analysis, I would write about interventions or what I would do in my small group to work on digraphs specifically, because this skill needs mastered before I move on to blends or common long vowels. So if I'm analyzing Sally, her developmental stage was letter name alphabetic. I knew this because she missed 2 of the features in digraphs. I also see that she makes reversals of some letters, F and S, but it is inconsistent. So that for me is not a huge concern. I would just correct the student and model correct letter formation. She spells more difficult words phonetically. So even though they're spelled wrong, I did notice that she is using her knowledge of letter sound correspondence to spell. And she's developmentally on grade level based on the chart that shows where students typically lie. So for this assignment, let me switch screens. When you go under your Blackboard, it's under Module 5. You'll see Words Their Way, Spelling Inventory. Let me move myself out of the way. Remember, you always need to click Start Attempt. It's just going to open it for you. So right here is the data. So if I open that, I am going to see that this is John. It's his middle of the year, and he is a 2nd grade student. This is his actual spelling inventory. So you're going to take this and you're going to use the feature guide. If you're able to print, I highly recommend you print. If not, you could do it digitally on your screen to mark it. But you're going to use the feature guide. If I click it, it's going to open. And you're going to do the same thing I did. You're going to score them. So you're going to check off the letters or the features they did correct, add up your totals, add up the words correct, and then you're going to circle, indicate where that student needs to begin their instruction. Remember, they begin their instruction where they have missed 2 or more of those features in the column. You will turn this score sheet in. I do not need this. I already have this, but you need to turn in your score sheet along with your written report or your analysis of how the student did. So for your report, you will want to, it's due on, let me go back here, sorry, on the 25th, which is Tuesday. Since I'm just now loading this video, if you need a little more time to complete it, that's okay. Just please reach out via email to me to ask for that extension. But what you're going to do is you're going to write a report explaining, first of all, what the spelling inventory is. Then you're going to explain it was administered to John, who is a second grader in the middle of the year. Then share what were some of the strengths you saw in John's ability to spell, what were some weaknesses, and then wherever he lands on this feature guide, let's say he ended up on blends, you would give interventions for blends. Let's say he ended up on syllables, you would give interventions for syllables. So once you determine the stage that this student is at, John, then you're going to write about research-based plan to address his developmental needs. So what are you going to do with John and work on with John in his small group? Is he on grade level? The way to tell that is if I go back and look at this chart right here, he's a second grader. Did he land late within word pattern, or did he land something previous or further? So is he ahead, behind, or on grade level? So that is what you're doing for this assignment. Hopefully that helps. Please view the slides. Please look in your textbook. Your textbook has some more examples on page 37 through 39 that might also help you. If you are confused or unsure, please reach out.